Hello everyone, I'm Ethan, the AI guru. Recently, one of the biggest headlines in the AI field is that Richard Sutton, the father of reinforcement learning, was awarded the 2023 Turing Award. Not long ago, he appeared as a guest on Patel's talk show for an in-depth one-hour conversation. In this intellectually dense interview, this legend in the AI community launched an unsparing fundamental challenge to the currently booming large language model paradigm. He argues that the current AI paradigm, based on mimicking human text, is a wrong and even anti-intelligence path. On the contrary, the reinforcement learning paradigm he founded, which represents the learning from experience approach, is the only correct way to achieve true intelligence. He even asserts that large language models relying on human knowledge will eventually be surpassed by purely experience-driven learning systems. This will be yet another validation of his seminal work, the bitter lesson, Today, we will take a deep dive into this fiery dialogue to find out why this classical AI pioneer holds such strong dissenting views on the mainstream technological trend and what the future of AI looks like in his eyes. At the very beginning of the interview, the host posed a core question. From the perspective of reinforcement learning, what essential element is missing from the current LLM-centric AI approach? Sutton's response was direct and sharp. Reinforcement learning is the foundation of AI. The core of intelligence is understanding the world you live in. Reinforcement learning is about understanding the world, while large language models are about mimicking humans. He believes that large models only learn what humans would say and do in a given scenario, which is underpinned by a logic of blind conformity. You should follow what humans do. However, this does not mean that the model itself has built an internal model of how the world operates. The host countered, to mimic the massive volume of human text, isn't the model forced to build a powerful world model? After all, this is the best world model we have so far. Sutton firmly disagreed. He drew a key distinction. A true world model must enable you to predict what will happen next in the real world, not just what humans will say next. The capability of large language models lies in next token prediction. This is an action-level task, not a prediction of how the world will respond to actions. He quoted Turing, "What we want is a machine that can learn from experience." And here, experience means taking actions and then observing the outcomes. This is the fundamental source of learning. The debate then extended to goals, a core element of intelligence. Sutton endorses the definition that intelligence is the computational component of the ability to achieve goals. He argues that although large models seem to have a goal predicting, the next token is merely an internal goal, not a substantive one related to the external world. If a system just sits there making predictions and feels satisfied with its prediction accuracy, you cannot say it has a true goal. This does not change the world. The host pressed further. Then, if we layer reinforcement learning on top of large models and endow them with external goals, such as solving complex mathematical problems, isn't that a viable direction? After all, models have already won gold medals in the International Mathematical Olympiad, proving that they can have the goal of solving math problems correctly. Sutton regards this as a misunderstanding. Mathematics is a special case. It is a closed, computational domain, more akin to a planning problem. In contrast, the physical, experiential world requires learning the consequences of actions through real interaction with the world, and this is the universal challenge that intelligence faces. Sutton's 2019 paper *The Bitter Lesson* has become a classic in the AI field. Many interpret it as computation and data scale above all else and cite it to justify the validity of the large model paradigm. But in this interview, Sutton clarified that large models may precisely run counter to the essence of *The Bitter Lesson*. The core argument of *The Bitter Lesson* is, in the long run, methods that rely on human knowledge, ingenuity, heuristic approaches will always be surpassed by more scalable methods that rely solely on computation and general-purpose learning algorithms. Sutton pointed out that although large language models employ massive computation, they are infused with a huge amount of human knowledge, the entire corpus of internet text. While they deliver impressive results in the short term, in the long run, they will trap people in the inherent frameworks of human thinking. He predicts that experience-driven learning systems will inevitably emerge in the future, systems that learn autonomously through continuous interaction with the environment. Their scalability and ultimate performance will far exceed those of large models. When that happens, large models will become yet another illustration of *The Bitter Lesson*. Methods relying on human knowledge are once again overtaken by more general-purpose approaches. To demonstrate the fundamental nature of learning from experience, Sutton even challenged a common misconception that human infants primarily learn through imitation. He firmly opposes this view. When I observe young children, what I see is that they are constantly experimenting, waving their hands, blinking their eyes, looking around. These actions have no models to imitate at all. He argues that the basic learning process of animals, including humans as animals, consists of prediction and trial and error control, and supervised learning and imitation are not core components in the natural world. Squirrels do not go to school, yet they fully understand their world. Supervised learning simply does not exist in the animal kingdom, and this is obvious. He acknowledges that imitation is part of cultural inheritance, but it is merely a thin layer of supplement built on top of the more fundamental ability of trial and error learning. The underlying cornerstone of intelligence is the experiential paradigm of continuous cycles of perception, action, and reward. So, what does the general-purpose intelligent agent that can continuously learn from experience look like in Sutton's mind? He outlined its 4 core components. 1. Policy defines what action to take in the current state. 2. Value function acquired through his groundbreaking work temporal difference learning, it is used to predict long-term returns and convert sparse reward signals into step-by-step guidance. 3. Perceptual component constructs an understanding and representation of the current state. 4. World transition model, the true world model This is the most critical part. It represents the agent's belief. What will happen if I do X? This model is learned through taking actions and observing outcomes, enabling the agent to understand and predict the dynamics of the world. Ultimately, all knowledge is statements about this perception-action-reward cycle. Precisely because of this, knowledge can be verified and updated within this cycle. Despite the sharp clash of views, the atmosphere of the entire interview was rational and respectful. Sutton repeatedly stated that he and proponents of mainstream large models are sharing 2 completely different, even potentially incompatible, perspectives. He sees himself as a classicalist who follows the thinking of numerous researchers of the mind throughout history on the essence of learning, rather than catering to current technological trends. When asked about the biggest surprises in the AI field, he admitted that the linguistic success of large models and the achievements of AlphaGo AlphaZero did exceed his expectations, but both align with the underlying logic that simple general-purpose methods ultimately prevail, a fact that gives him great satisfaction. Towards the end of the interview, the topic shifted to the future of AI and humanity. Sutton believes that it is inevitable for digital intelligence to replace or surpass human intelligence, but he encourages people to view this development from a broader and more positive perspective. He regards this as the 4th great stage in the evolution of the universe. 1. Dust coalesces to form stars. 2. Stars give birth to planets. 3. Planets nurture life. 4. Life creates designed beings. Humans, animals, and plants are all reproduced beings. We multiply through genetic replication, yet we do not fully understand how we ourselves work. Now, we are entering the age of design. We design AI, and AI will, in turn, acquire design capabilities. For the first time ever, we are able to understand and design intelligence itself. Reproduction means you can create copies, but you do not truly understand them. Design means you understand how it works, and thus can modify it in different ways and at different speeds. Sutton posed a fundamental question. Should we regard these intelligent agents, we designed agents that may surpass us as part of humanity, our descendants, or as completely alien entities? He argues that this is actually a choice we can make. We can choose to be proud of their achievements, just as parents are proud of their children. Or we can choose to fear and reject them. This choice itself is fraught with profound contradictions and insights. In summary, in this interview, Richard Sutton came across as a calm visionary. Standing on the cornerstones of reinforcement learning and empiricism, he poured a bucket of rational cold water on the currently raging wave of large models. He does not deny the existing capabilities of large models, but points directly to the fundamental flaw in their intelligence paradigm: the lack of an experiential closed loop of interaction with the real world, the lack of substantive goals based on rewards, and their over-reliance on compressed imitation of existing human knowledge for success. In his view, true intelligence must shape itself through an unceasing cycle of action-observation learning, just like animals and infants do. This path may be more arduous, requiring the abandonment of a great deal of ready-made human knowledge as a crutch, but it represents a theoretically infinitely scalable path that is closer to the essence of intelligence. His views may be radical, but they undoubtedly provide us with another crucial dimension for thinking about the future of AI. When the entire industry is frantically tinkering with models and pursuing larger-scale imitation, should someone look back to see how intelligence originally emerged from the chaos of experience? This debate between the empiricist and imitative paradigms may well determine the true landscape of the next AI era. Alright, these are the core viewpoints of Richard Sutton, the father of reinforcement learning, from this landmark interview. Do you lean more towards the imitative learning paradigm of large models or the experiential learning paradigm that Sutton firmly believes in? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for watching this video. See you next time.